Well, good morning, everybody. I think you may notice something. There's only 2 times that I go clean shaven, and that's if my wife tells me to or I'm going dredging, and that's what we're doing today. But before we tell you about today, it's going to be a great day. I'm pretty pumped about it. We got a 4-inch Proline dredge in the trailer behind us, and I got my good friend John with us. He's our field manager for AMRA, and anyway, we're going to go out and we're going to hit something today I'll tell you about in a sec. But before we get to there, I know you guys are getting pretty fed up with all of the stuff our government's doing, the EPA, you know, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, BLM, everybody else. They're using these regulatory agencies basically to circumvent Congress and make de facto wildernesses and all these new regulations that are just so intrusive. If you're getting tired of that stuff, guys, join us. Join AMRA. Go to AmericanMiningRights.com and check us out. You know, for a $200 donation, we give you access to all of our gold claims. We're a non-profit. It's tax deductible, and you can kind of look at it this way. You're going to pay $200 to the IRS, or you can give it to your own legal fund and write it off your taxes instead of giving it to the people that would use that money against you. So anyway, check us out at AmericanMiningRights.com, and go check us out on Facebook under American Mining Rights. We got a lot of stuff going on. We're representing quite a few people, actually all across the country, as far as intrusiveness and government trying to take away claims, and it's just ridiculous. So anyway, on to what we're doing today. This is pretty exciting. Oh, look at that, John. There's a bear out there.
Oh,
yeah, we just saw a black bear. Anyway, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning. My phone's beeping, and we're heading down to a special spot. And in California here right now, there's a moratorium on suction dredging because they say that we kill salmon. Where we're going today, guys, is a frog pond. Has nothing to do with a river, a stream, or anything like that. The only thing that's in this is frog eggs and a couple of bass and bluegill. So how is it that we're, you know, hurting the environment and everything else? It's also on private property. So we got the 4-inch dredge here, and we're going to throw that in. John and I sampled this thing about a week and a half ago, and 14 of the 15 test pans that we did showed pretty good color. So it's going to make for an interesting video. But anyway, we're pretty excited about it. It's all super fine gold. If this shows really good color, what we'll probably end up doing is, oh, there goes your stuff, John, is we'll take the big 6-inch dredge and we'll put it down there, and we'll fire that baby up. That'll move a substantially more amount of material than the 4 will. So anyway, that's what we're doing today, and I know you guys are going to like this video. It's real fun. So we're not telling anybody where we're going for obvious reasons, and we're also doing this video in opposition to the utterly ridiculous dredge moratorium here in California. So anyway, we're gonna drive on, and you know what, John? I forgot our banana nut muffins for breakfast. So
you did, didn't you?
Yeah. I think I got a candy bar or something. Anyway, we'll catch you guys down here on the road in a ways and give you an update on what we're doing.
Raised in California, spent a little time in Hollywood. Folks down there ain't like you and me. They never seem to have enough time. Too busy living to live life right. It's always on to the next big thing. City by the bay, you couldn't pay me enough to stay. I never got what the big deal was anyway. That's not where I call home. I need a little room.
Guys, we're on our way down to the spot we're going to today, and just wanted to give you an example of this regulation and the things that are going on in our government that really impact small miners and public land users. And as most of you know, if you've been following us on Facebook, we met with the USFS last week. It was a good meeting, but we absolutely have evidence of these guys discriminating against the small miners, saying that patented mining claim owners have a right to go to their claims, but non-patented ones don't. And it's already been decided by the courts, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. So anyway, another good example I wanted to tell you about that you may not know about is with suction dredging here in California. You know, they got this moratorium. There's been two studies done by DFG, and there's been a multitude of studies done by other outside peer-reviewed groups that prove that we actually help fish habitat. We've got in our possession right now for this meeting that we're going to on Wednesday, that it's a report by DFG. I haven't even told John this, but that states in there, it's from 1998 from DFG, that we actually help fish habitat. So we're going to be calling them out on that on Wednesday at this meeting, but I wanted to let you know this, is that our dredges remove 98% of the mercury in the river, and they're saying, oh, we flour the mercury and blah, 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 all this stuff. And a cutter dredge, which is actually pretty destructive, it kind of bounces off the bottom and it doesn't suck up the mercury, so it all stays in the cracks. They granted, oh, we got a big turkey in the road here. They gave a 1.4, I think it was, $1 million grant to Sierra Fund, which is a uber liberal environmental group. They gave a grant of your taxpayer dollars for these guys to go out and use a cutter dredge in Lake Combi and to remove the mercury when it's not even nearly as effective as what we use. They let them go out and dredge because they're politically like-minded, but yet they refuse to let us dredge when we go out and create fish habitat and we remove almost every speck of mercury in the river. Something doesn't add up here, and at some point, guys, you got to admit what this is it's an agenda. It has nothing to do with fish, it has nothing to do with mercury, and it's really about a political movement that's been going on for a long time. It's not just isolated to this administration. It goes back to Bush and Clinton and George Herbert Walker Bush, and it's really disgusting. It's actually quite repulsive. You know, my forefathers and my ancestors fought for the freedoms in this country, and you know, and I would like to think that what they did and the sacrifices that they made and your family has made for the freedoms and the Constitution of this great country, you know, weren't just for no reason. So we have to push back, and that's exactly what we're doing. As you can imagine, we're very disliked by the federal government because of what we do. It's why they claim that they never got our 501c3 application at the IRS, although we've done that again, even though anyway, I don't want to even get into that, but you know, it's just really disheartening. So we're doing this dredge day today really in opposition to the tyranny that we're witnessing, and we know we don't hurt fish. If we did, we wouldn't do what we do, right, John?
Exactly.
We just wouldn't do it. So anyway, enough about that. It's going to be a great day. Let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing in this spot. It's a gravel pit, and it's an ancient tertiary channel that was part of the river, and what they were doing is digging down with big backhoes, with big excavators, probably about 25 feet, and it made these big ponds where they were moving taking all this sand and gravel out.
I was born and raised in California. Spent a little time in
Well, here we are down here in the pit, guys, and before you give us a lot of crap about our fashion statement here, you got to understand, we're going in this pond. I think we're hoping the water's going to be warm enough. We didn't bring wetsuits or anything like that, so yeah, my wife's probably cringing right now as we speak, and I'll tell you, Mr. Quail Legs there behind the camera with those bright white lights, I need sunglasses. Let me show you what we got here, folks. Is we're going to be actually pretty cautious about the shots that we take today because we're not going to disclose where we're at. But you can see behind me, and when I get done talking, John will zoom in on that, and you can see we've had excavators in here digging, and this is all river cobble. We're quite a ways away from the river, surprisingly, actually a long ways away from the river, but this whole valley is part of that old tertiary channel, and it's just loaded full of river rock, and it's loaded full of fine gold. So we got the pond over here. I could probably throw a rock and hit the water, and we're gonna drag our little 4 down there, and we're gonna fire up and just kick down on that. So, but I want you to look when he zooms in here in just a second. I want you to look at all of the different layers, and hopefully the camera will pick up the different colors. But I can already see 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 7 different layers just in about 7 or 8 feet. And every one of those layers represents basically a flood that came through here. Who knows if it was 1 million years ago, 50 million years ago, or 500 million years ago, but it was a long time ago.
I still see friends from school, and I think about the things we used to do. Man, those were the good old days. We couldn't wait for summer to come. We'd head out when the chores were all done, running wild through the countryside. We were young and having fun, swimming in them truly canals, getting sunburned and just hanging out, cruising through town on the way back home just to see if there was anyone around. And we'd go fishing all night long, bullfrog singing from dusk till dawn. Sometimes we just lay back and watch the stars with the radio on. That's still the place that I call home, 'cause we got small towns and farmland, folks who still make a living with their hands. Where I come from, a man is still a man. Where I live, people know your name. They ask how you've been, and they're always glad you came. You can sit down just to talk about old times. That's my California.
Well, I'll give you guys an update. You probably can hear that motor running in the background. I just dredged for a little over an hour, and we cleaned out. And we classified that down to 1/8 of an inch. And it looks like about half of that is black sand. So we're pretty optimistic. John just jumped in the water, and he's working on that spot I was at. But I want you guys to look at this wall behind me, because the pond level is only about 2 feet below me. There's a gravel bench here. This is what they're digging, and it's all hard pack, and it's all river cobble. So, you know, there's no nuggets in here. There's not even any pickers that we've ever heard or seen. So most of it's going to be fine gold, but I think with us running that 4, we'll probably do pretty good. But John's going to be in the water for about an hour, so I'm going to go over and take that probably 2.5 gallons of concentrates, and it's, like I say, mostly sand and black sand, and I'm gonna pan that out while I have lunch here while he's running, and we'll see what we get. So we're pretty excited. You know, I was punching down in the middle of the pond, and what these guys would do is they'll scoop out with those excavators until they hit clay, and then they'll back off and they'll start digging a little bit. And what I found was going across there is there's obviously, you know, ups and downs and stuff as part of the old channel. And so when they hit a clay layer and they dig across, maybe there was a pit. That's what I found. So I dug this giant hole and I started punching down. I probably got good 4 feet below that. So we're in, believe it or not, we're in 12 feet of water right now. So anyway, and we still didn't hit the bottom. So we're gonna keep going down. I did start hitting some really hard packed layers. So That's real encouraging. So anyway, we'll start panning some of this first test hole out and see how we do. So we'll pick you up in a bit. Well guys, I waited about 45 seconds till he got out of his little pink camouflage underwear there.
He's just jealous.
And anyway, we went ahead and finished up the day. It's getting late in the afternoon, and you know, when John was down underwater there dredging, you guys saw me panning that out. This stuff's so loaded with black sand, it's really, really difficult to pan. And there's decent gold in there, and we'll show you that. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this stuff back up to the shop, and we're going to run that through the cube so we don't have to spend 3 hours panning it. But you see that tidy cap bucket there? Guys, we classified that down, John. What was it, 1/8 inch?
1/8 inch.
We classified it down to 1/8 inch. And one of them I've already panned. That thing is full.
Well, we made it back up from the valley there, or from Arizona. Excuse me there. It was quite a long trip. It's kind of nice to come back up from the hills where it's nice and cool. But we're going to run this, oh good God, 50 pounds or plus of concentrates here. And we're going to run it on through the cube here, because frankly, who likes panning? I don't like panning. If the cube can knock my panning down from, shoot, we'll say 20 pans down into one, life is good.
You know, one thing we want to remind you guys, if you're using a cube and you're not real familiar with it, it's a great piece of equipment. We wholeheartedly endorse this thing. As you guys know, we had a few problems with the pump, but Mike stepped up and sent us a couple of them, and we've ran those two together, and we're actually recircling the system. We'll show you how we're doing that, and it works just fine. We don't have a lot of mud and a lot of crud in this material, so we're running out of the first barrel, but normally we would pull out of the bottom barrel up to the cube, and then it goes into a barrel, drains into another one, drains into another one, so that settlement settles down in that first one. But when you get ready to fire up the cube, now make sure you wet that matting really, really well. And a lot of people, like John, I know, takes a brush and he brushes it. What you're trying to do is to get those little air pockets out of the little tiny grooves in that matting. As a matter of fact, I have a little sample piece of it right here. So when you wet this down, you want to make sure that all of these little grooves in here don't have any air bubbles, because if it's got air bubbles, your gold's going to skip right across the top of that. So remember that. But it's a good piece of equipment. You know, he mentioned we hate panning. We hate panning. When you do it about 4 million times, you get tired of it. I want to show you guys something here. I know you can see that. That's pure nothing but black sand. Can you imagine doing 20 pans of this as opposed to, we only had a half a pan after running it through the cube, and I'm really confident that we didn't lose any gold, so that's how effective the cube is. We'll edit and speed this up because this will take a while. Well, that's not too bad. It wasn't actually what we were hoping for, but you know, gold is gold, and we're happy to get it anytime we can get it. I tell you, I'm surprised that there wasn't more than that, because we test sampled all over those ponds about a week or so ago and got pretty good stuff. It's surprising that we ran a 4-inch dredge, you know, for several hours, and that's all we got. So maybe we were just in the wrong spot, you know, that's why they call it prospecting. But we hope you enjoyed this video. We had a heck of a good time getting out there. It's awful hot, and it was nice to get in the cool water. So we got a lot of things coming up, guys. There's the dredge, suction dredge regulation meeting this coming week. We're hoping to release this video just shortly after that, and we'll be posting on our Facebook page at American Mining Rights, and also on our website at AmericanMiningRights.com what's going on. So we've got some meetings coming up real shortly with the Bear team and with the travel management group with Susan Skalski again to talk about all the gates. As you guys can imagine, we're not going to let up on those gates. So it looks like John and Mike might be heading up to Idaho in the next couple of weeks. There's a big Occupy the Waters thing going on up there on the Salmon River, and we're going to support them. Our good friends John and Nicole Crossman over there. We urge you to check that out. We'll be posting their flyers, and if you're from Idaho, go and join these folks. They need the support, and it's about time that we just stand in opposition to the EPA. So, you know, we got tons of other things going on, people we're representing. But you know what, guys? Join us. Join AMRA. It's not that expensive. You deduct it off your taxes. And you know what? We use that money to fight for your rights. So if you don't want to join us, then support PLP, Public Lands for the People. They're at plp2.org. But whether you support us or you support PLP, support one of them, guys. The things going on in this government are just repulsive. So anyway, I'm Shannon. That's John. He's our field manager and my good buddy and mining partner. And we'll catch you next time.